Hey there, nurse friends. How are you doing? It is another day after another shift. I wanted to come on and check in. Remember, we're doing this every day. So I just wanted to do a wellness check to see how you're doing. How am I doing, you might ask? Today was quite a day. I find that I am often confronted with the exact same things I speak about, telling others what it is we have to do to make sure that we're setting the boundaries that are necessary so that we are guarding our peace and doing what it is we have to do and advocating for ourselves. And I find myself still having to constantly do the same thing for myself, which means it doesn't go away. It won't stop. But how we handle it, how we deal with it when it presents itself is totally up to us. Today was one of those days where things were being thrown at me from the moment I came in, from the call outs to the no shows to moving employees and staff around to make sure that all areas are covered, to make sure that everyone is good. That leads to patient staff altercations and talking people down off the ledge and helping patients' family members when they're on 10 and you got to get them down around 2, which is my comfort space. I believe in and I'm good at getting people from 10 to 2. But guess what? In doing that, it takes a toll. The day is over, but I am emotionally spent. Why? Mentally drained because it takes so much to make sure that everyone is good, that everything is good, that you've dotted every I, you've crossed every T, that you've made sure that nothing is left undone, especially if you're in a position or a role where you constantly have people depending on you to make decisions all day, every day. And as a nurse, you know exactly what that looks like. You understand what it looks like to have to critically think, to multitask, to think about the needs of the patient, see things from the patient's point of view, see things from their family member's point of view, see it from the staff's point of view, and then still document everything. Because we all know what it is. We all know the saying. If you don't document it, it didn't happen. So it can take a lot out of you, but you have to remember. And I had to even remind myself, set up those boundaries so that you can say honestly and realistically and have conversations like, you know what? This is too much for one person to handle. Is there help? I need to advocate for myself so that I get the assistance I need to be effective in my role. And that's honestly what we desire for each of us. We just want to be acknowledged, we want to be supported, and we already know that what we do matters, but we want to be sure that we are able to come back again tomorrow or whenever that next shift is and do it again without losing ourselves. And it can be easy to lose yourself if you don't have these things in place. So, was it a busy day? Absolutely. Was it a hectic day? Absolutely. But you know what? I feel good in knowing that I helped a patient's family member. And when I tell you this person came in like hellfire, burning everything in their path. everything in their path. As a matter of fact, it was so bad that I had even gotten wind and story of how this person presented to the unit several times in the past. I'm like, okay, it's going to be one of those. But I will tell you this, something I always do. I may hear what other nurses and what others say when I get report, but I'm going to see what that looks like for myself. Thank you, but I'm not going to lie, it's good to be forewarned, but it isn't always necessarily the case. And sometimes what you're looking at is a cry for help, is someone who's overwhelmed, someone who's trying to juggle life and what that looks like for them. So had to help this family member and get administration involved, and I mean there were some boundaries that were, I mean there were some things that were crossed, that there was no turning back. Like there were things that had to be done, and it was for the safety of the patient, for the safety of the staff, for the safety of everyone involved. And trying to get a family member to understand that sometimes can be difficult. But you just have to be adamant in what it is you believe in. And it's this balancing act. It's this balancing act where you put yourself in the place of that loved one who wants to make sure that the patient is taken care of, putting yourself in their place, but being firm in what you know needs to happen and what needs to take place. And I will say, from the initial conversation I had with this person, they were not trying to hear it at all. They were telling me what was going to be done. And I was like, okay, I hear you. But this is what it is we're doing. This is why we have to do it. I understand and hear exactly what you're saying, but this is the decision we've come to. I will see that you get all of the necessary information you need regarding this decision that's already been made. Were they happy to hear that? Absolutely not. As a matter of fact, they came in ready, guns blazing. And I just took the time to explain what it was and why we were doing what needed to be done, and understanding their role and their position and how frustrating it might be and how overwhelming it might be to see your loved one in this state and you feel like your hands are tied and you feel helpless. By the time we got administration involved, do you know what that family member said to administration? Thank you so much for hiring someone like her, because she helped calm me down. I'm calmer now than when I came in. And then proceeded to look at me and apologize for every rude comment, statement, the attitude, everything we had from the phone calls earlier in the day. And I told them, I said, stop apologizing. It's okay. Apology accepted. And then went to explain why they acted the way they did. And when I heard the story, I had to say, oh my gosh, that could easily be me. And I could understand being justified in behaving that way. Would it make it right? No. But when you have a lot thrown at you at one time, it can be difficult to navigate that and to always remain on the right side of things, no matter how hard we try. So, do we excuse or overlook bad behavior? Absolutely not. But we understand sometimes why people do what they do. And in doing so, it can allow you to extend grace to them. And I think that's what that person saw today. They saw grace being extended. And they were extremely thankful and grateful for it. So I will say, even after all of that, now look at me, spent. It took a lot of Jedi mind tricks to get through the day. But now that I'm on the other side of it, what am I going to do to refresh and replenish and pour back into myself? I'm about to see what that looks like. And truthfully, I think I'm going to want to talk about that tomorrow. What it is I did to get myself on a good foot again and getting ready to do it all over again tomorrow. But I wanted to touch base and do a quick wellness check and letting you know that even on days when you have a handle on it or when you feel you have everything in place, these things will come up. But they don't have to derail you and they don't have to derail your day. And trust me, this isn't something I got overnight. This isn't something I got as it happened in real time. I've made mistakes. I learned from it. And when you learn from it, hopefully you grow from it. And then you find yourself, hopefully, making that mistake less and less often. So I encourage you to be gracious to yourself, be kind to yourself. You're human. You're living this life with a lot being thrown at you at one time, and you're expected to navigate it all. I just ask that you show yourself kindness as you do it. We don't have a manual for what this looks like. All you can do is go by your instincts, your intuition, and your heart. Trust your heart. Trust your heart and allow yourself to be that compassionate, caring person who you already know you are. So until tomorrow, when I'll be back again and we'll talk about the series and getting ready for this next series that's going to be so important in helping to keep us grounded. Until then, I'm going to say stay safe, be well, and take care.